Hey y'all, I'm Morgan,
I'm Bill.
and this is Coffee
Sweaters
and
Finance.
You bet. We've got sweaters, we got coffee, we got finance.
Yes, we do.
That wasn't planned. Bill, got a great question for you. What's the number one thing you need to do before you even think about investing?
It's a good question, and I have a very strong opinion on this.
You do.
Yep. The number one thing is you need to have a financial plan.
You need to have a plan.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what is a financial plan? Ultimately, you're looking at everything in your life, not just your portfolio and investments, but everything else, your tax situation, your employee benefits and your tax saving opportunities, your goals, and
Time horizon.
all these factors.
Right.
Ultimately, the portfolio is just a tool for that financial plan. It's
Right.
one important component, but it's just one component.
Right.
So you need to start with that because that drives so many of the portfolio decisions that you make.
Yeah. So let's kind of go through the reasons why you need a financial plan, right? And then investments kind of being one component of that financial plan. So I'm going to throw out number one, right?
Okay.
So number one is, what are you investing for?
Yes.
Right. So we need goals. We need goals. If you're just investing to invest, there's nothing attached to that.
Yep.
It doesn't get you anywhere.
Yep.
We need a sense of what are you looking forward to in 5 years, 10 years? What do we need money for? And then we kind of back that out into some sort of investment strategy, or savings, all this other stuff as well.
Yep. When are you going to retire? If you're working toward financial independence, what's the timing that you're looking at for getting there? Are you going to have any other important expenses between now and then, such as children's college, maybe a home purchase or a home renovation, maybe it's graduate school. In retirement, do you have other shorter term goals? Maybe it's a big trip a few years out that you want to make sure you're saving for.
Right.
These are all things that impact your time horizon. They impact how much you should be saving. They impact how much you should be spending.
And I would say we hear a lot of times too, well, I'm 35 years old. I'm not even thinking about retirement. That's fine, right? But we still want to be planning for what we kind of call a work optional period, right? And then at some point, I mean, look, you'll be required to phase out. Not all of us can be Warren Buffett working until we're in our late 80s. Health happens, life events happens, and your goals might change. You might say, "Oh, I'm done with this. I'm ready to retire." And you kind of look back and you're grateful for the work you've been doing for 20, 30 years to get to that point.
Yep, absolutely. We've talked about this in the past, but there's a lot of variables and noise out there when you're trying to make investment decisions. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to isolate the variables that we can control and learn to ignore the ones that we can't.
Right.
And so ultimately the plan has to come first, because that is the process of getting really clear on the variables we can control.
Right.
Such as your goals, such as how much you should be saving and or spending.
Yeah.
Such as your tax situation and the tax plan and opportunities you have.
Right.
How much risk you should be taking. Can you take less risk? Maybe you don't want to be subject to market volatility that much, and maybe it's okay if you're more conservative. But maybe based off of your goals, you need to take more risk, and then there's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that entail for you?
About the trade-offs and the decisions associated with that. But all of those decisions, and very important decisions relating to your portfolio and making sure that you're optimizing it from an allocation standpoint and what accounts you have standpoint, all of that process starts with the financial planning process.
Right, yeah. So I'm just going to throw out another one here. Why do you need a financial plan? Well, we need to decipher between short-term considerations and long-term considerations, right? So that changes how you invest. That changes how much you should be saving. We don't want to react to short-term things in terms of the market or the economy, et cetera, as well. We want to be focused on more long-term considerations with investments. Number three, how will you know how much you should be saving in the first place or can spend, right? So, the whole idea of financial planning is not to constrain you to some ascetic lifestyle. That's not the goal here. The goal is to just figure out what level of savings you need to achieve your long-term goals, and that's going to be different and unique for most people.
On that point, I think a lot of times people will come into the office and they'll say, I'm sorry, we're going on a trip, and they'll feel bad, like we wouldn't approve of that. Yes, if you're spending too much money, that's an important thing to get our heads around. But the opposite can be true as well. What if you're not spending? What if you're going to have more than enough money? There's another conversation that has to be had there.
Well, and I would just say you just told me exactly what your priorities are, which is part of the financial planning process. Your priority is to take a family trip to, let's say, Kenya or something like that. Okay, well, let's back that out. If we need an annual travel fund that we need to be creating, how do we do that so we're not worried about it from a budgetary expense or a budgetary perspective next year? That's financial planning. That has investment implications once again, and that's why we have to. Everything evolves from the original plan that we kind of update over time as events dictate. Another reason why we need a financial plan: what type of accounts should I be investing in the first place? You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, the tax code is full of tax planning opportunities. There's Roth IRAs. There's 401ks, which you can save into a pre-tax or on a Roth basis. There's all sorts of other tax advantaged accounts. And each person is going to have access to different types of options. It's important that we understand what those options are and that we take advantage of them.
Right. You don't want to just be blindly throwing money into an account when it would be more appropriate for you from a tax perspective to, let's say, be investing in a traditional 401k versus a Roth style 401k. And you can kind of go down the line of, should this money be in a taxable account? Should this money be in a Roth style account? The only way we can answer those questions is if you have a financial plan in the first place.
A complete review of your entire financial situation.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense to sit there and worry about what the market's going to do in the next month if you haven't even taken advantage of the tax planning opportunity that sits right in front of you. Why are you ignoring the free money on the table while you're worrying about something that's completely out of your control?
Exactly. And that's a kind of a bridge to the final one. Why do we need a financial plan before we even start talking about investments? It's tax implications.
Yep, absolutely.
It's simply tax implications.
Yep. Every portfolio change that you make is going to have tax implications. The way you structure your portfolio, the way you structure your accounts, it's going to have major tax implications.
Yeah, so money going in is going to have tax implications, some money coming out is going to have tax implications. And you kind of have to do that work before you can devise an investment strategy that makes sense for you.
Conversely, your tax situation impacts how you should structure your portfolio. It impacts, should you own municipal bonds or should you own taxable bonds? That decision has an impact on your taxes, and which one you should own depends on your tax situation. You can't make proper investment decisions without understanding a client's tax situation as well.
Right. And obviously, why do we bring all this up? Well, we live in an age where, and we think this is a good thing, where it's easier than ever to create an investment portfolio. That's a very good thing, but we're putting the cart before the horse. Right? So we need the financial plan first before we can devise an investment portfolio that makes sense for you and is truly going to help you meet and achieve your unique goals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks, y'all. We will talk to you later.
See ya.